And now going back to Kaduna, we have Dr. Peter Adamu, an economist, joining us from there. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us on Galaxy TV News.
Good evening, and thank you for having me this evening.
Okay, all right. So could you please share with us your thoughts on the budget that was presented today and which areas do you think should have the most attention?
All right. I like the title of the budget of restoration, because at the moment Nigerians actually are at their lowest in terms of economic prosperity. So we are hoping that 2025 will restore their hope, and government actually type it so that it can renew hope in a grand style, so that everybody will be happy at the end of the day. But again, if you ask me, I'll say in lump sum, actually the budget is huge. But if you compare what we're doing next year and what we're doing currently in dollar terms, you know that we're doing less compared to what we have next year because of the exchange rate. So exchange rate actually is an issue. And last year we did 700 to $1. This next year we're hoping to do 1,400. So if you ask me, I'll say that's actually very, very ambitious, because at the moment the exchange rate is far ahead of what is projected to happen for next year. Again, one of the most ambitious among what was presented today by the president is a reduction in inflation. Inflation is about 34.70% at the moment, and the budget is saying it will be reduced down to 15%. For me, it's actually extremely ambitious, because reducing inflation to that level will actually not be an easy task. And in terms of the allocation, I think the government should have allocated more funds to education, because at the moment you have education has become very, very key, because there are lots and lot of new initiatives around AI. Technology is improving, and we are left behind in terms of education, in terms of primary, secondary, and tertiary education. There's also high rates of out of school children, especially in other parts of the country. So that's actually very, very important. So we do not see funds actually being allocated in that area, and that's actually disturbing for me.
So Nigerians are groaning bitterly because of economic hardship. So what in this budget do you think might bring succor to the people if well implemented?
All right. It's good that the president actually allocated more funds to defense, so that we can secure, especially those areas that we're getting agricultural produce from, especially the northwest, the north central, that's Niger State, and some other areas. But allocating funds is not actually enough. Government must, develop what we call political will to ensure that all of these funds that are allocated to security are utilized to ensure that we reduce the rate of insecurity in those areas. Because if we cannot feed ourselves and we cannot produce more, it means that the ambitious reduction in inflation cannot be achieved, because at the moment the price of items are skyrocketing and people can hardly eat 2 square meals in a day. So government must do more actually to increase supervision in terms of this money that will be spent. Again, the area of exchange rate and importation. Exchange rate actually have depleted the purchasing power of Nigerians, and that actually is translated into the prices of items in the market. But hopefully, as was presented in the budget, the president mentioned that there will be reduction in importation of food, and there's a likelihood that we will export some maybe Dangote petroleum products. And now that we're hoping that the refinery in Port Harcourt will start functioning, so we have more than enough to export, so we have foreign exchange coming in. But again, that actually must translate to reduction in price of items, because if that is not done, people will continue to lament, and the ambitious reduction in inflation might not be achieved.
Okay, all right. We truly appreciate your presence and for sharing with us your thoughts on the budget. But sadly, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.